we were able to hear that Israel has officially opened its bomb shelters to its citizens for this weekend, anticipating an all-out war and missile launches from the IRGC after they were apparently notified by U.S. officials of an escalation coming soon. The U.S. State Department issued another worldwide alert citing escalation in the Middle East. So, diplomats from the UK, France, and Germany have reportedly evacuated Iran, and we currently have the biggest airlift we've seen in months, bringing equipment to the Middle East all day last night and today. We're about to see a 13th night in a row of U.S. strikes on the Islamic Republic of Iran to gain further control of the Strait of Hormuz and provide safe passage for oil tankers, with the strikes expected to expand. On average, one oil tanker has been struck every 3 days, and we're already hearing some preliminary reports that maybe another one was struck tonight. The Houthis are continuing to blockade the Bab el-Mandeb and the Red Sea while we await imminent U.S. strikes by strategic B-1 and B-2 bombers on nuclear facilities in central Iran, including Pickaxe Mountain. In addition to all of that, the Islamic Republic has fired missiles and drones nonstop to Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. And we saw that the United States last night destroyed a very important border crossing from Iran into Iraq, almost taking out the chief of police of the Islamic Republic as well. As always, we will bring you the clips and news from inside Iran as well, such as fights between politicians on state media, the unjust and tragic execution of more of the Iranian people, and what the regime supporters inside Iran are saying in their discussions. To start us off, we will first be looking at a clip from Donald Trump today. He had a speech, and we'll see if anything's on the way.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. If we did all this that I'm talking about your data centers, isn't that important? When they start blowing away communities one by one, we cannot let them ever even think about having a nuclear weapon, and that's exactly what's happening.
Apparently, Barack Ravid from Axios talked to Donald Trump today, and according to Barack Ravid, he has said, quote, word for word, "I'm considering a massive attack, bigger than ever before. I am close to making a decision. We are all set for it," said President Donald Trump, according to Axios. Now, this comes in light with all of the bomb shelters in Israel being reopened and citizens getting alerts on their phones and etc. that perhaps be prepared for some escalation this coming weekend. You know what that tells me, though, Armin? It tells me that Israel doesn't know exactly when we're going to escalate. They just got the notification that it's going to happen. What do you think?
It's hard for me to believe that Americans would arrange any large-scale military operations without coordinating with Israel. At least talking to them. Yeah.
And that does check out because Benjamin Netanyahu was scheduled to come to the United States, and he has now canceled his trip in light of this escalation that's about to happen. All of these things are pointing towards a lot of interesting news coming out. A lot of people are reported seeing bombers or expecting bombers to be on their way because we see refueling tankers active over Greece and the Mediterranean. What we did see on Tuesday, and I was right about this, the B-1 bomber was active on Tuesday over the Islamic Republic of Iran, over Tehran, and did strike the missile cities, production facilities there. The B-1 was escorted from England with a train of refueling tankers to get it to Iran. And it looks like people are largely expecting the same because the same train of refueling tankers is active as we speak. They are scheduled to arrive in about 2 hours, so we will be catching it on stream, hopefully, if that does seem to be the case. And we can even see that there was a worldwide safety alert issued by the State Department, saying that due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex, with the potential for unforeseen escalation. Now, this issue was alerted to all Americans, but it seems that most embassies from foreign countries inside Iran also took this pretty seriously. And there are many countries like New Zealand and Australia even declaring that there is an absolute no go to the Islamic Republic of Iran, no travel. Same with Germany, France, the UK, United States, and some other countries here as well. Speaking of the American government, we saw something pretty annoying, but we're pretty used to it at this point. If we go over to Faytux News, we can see that the Senate and the House have yet again voted to limit President Donald Trump's powers in the war with Iran. The House voted and passed to limit Trump's powers, but the Senate voted to reject it. So this has not gone through to the president so far. Even if it did, he would still veto it. The Senate and House would need a 2/3 majority. It's never going to happen. They continue to be annoying little pests that they are. The United States House and Senate. Speaking as an American who grew up in the system. In terms of diplomatic, developments, we can see that the Prime Minister of Iraq, Ali al-Zaidi, is now in Tehran. And he has done some interesting meetings with some interesting people. After he announced his visit, we can see him here shaking hands with a man that we all know. I was able to grab this from an Islamic Republic State media channel. That on the right is Ghalibaf, the current number 2 or even number 1, you might say, of the Islamic Republic. And on the left is the Prime Minister of Iraq. This comes after al-Zaidi visited the White House a few days ago, signing 19 historic agreements with the United States on everything from war to energy. And now he is in Tehran. And that's not the only person that he is met with. He has also, unfortunately, met with Ejei and shook hands with him while smiling. And that picture is going through the rounds, not looked upon favorably by many people. What do you think about that? I think he has to navigate it. He has to play the political game here. He's caught in between. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not surprised by this. This is what he has to do. This. He just met with President Trump. This is a huge warning to the Islamic Republic. He has to go there and shake some hands to remove any excuses for the Islamic Republic waging war of an American government in Iraq. Like, it's easy for us to sit back and say, like, you shouldn't do that. But he's the one who has to deal with his country being right next, being sharing borders with a country being occupied by the Islamic Republic with not that much resources to defend against them. He's trying to get the Islamic Republic and American military out of Iraq and do a lot of trade with the United States to bring investments into Iraq. And he doesn't have enough military to push. Without the American military being there, he doesn't have enough military power to push back against the Islamic Republic. So he shouldn't be giving the Islamic Republic any excuses. So this is necessary.
And a lot of people think that Donald Trump may have passed on some messages through the Prime Minister of Iraq there on the left to the Islamic Republic. I'm very curious as to what anyone in the chat might think those messages would be, or what you think. I'm actually not too sure.
Did he meet with anybody else? Ejei, Ghalibaf, who else did he meet with? Like, did we get any other pictures?
That's all I was able to find.
So if that's said, that basically is also a complete confirmation that Ghalibaf is in charge.
Yep. Ghalibaf is in charge. Now, what we've seen al-Zaidi do on the positive side here is that he's giving the Iraqi militias, including IRGC-backed militias, until September 30th to disarm, and actually, quote unquote, said, surrender your weapons or we will storm your headquarters. So that will be happening in about a month and a half from now. And that is going through like wildfire in Iraqi platforms, their media. So that's just going to be a dynamite waiting to explode there. In addition to that, if we go to the map here, we can see that along this border, there was something quite significant happening. So if we take a look right here, this is a pretty popular crossing for a certain ethnic group from Iraq into Iran and vice versa. And let's take a look at what happened to it last night. So he's saying lay on the ground.
So this is on Iran-Iraq border, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
it was and this bombing happened at the same time when Radon was in Shalamche at the same time.
Just about. We'll get to that in just a second. The aftermath of the strikes were this. They seemed to target something very particular. In fact, there's a burning car or a few cars in there as well. I don't know if that's collateral damage, civilians, or if someone very important was there. What you just said, though, if anyone knows who Radon is one of the most murderous people in planet Earth alive. He has probably the most amount of blood on his hands out of anyone currently alive, directly by issuing orders and conducting plans on how to massacre civilians. We can see him there. He was there earlier. He was there, I think, 3 or 4 hours before that strike took place. I couldn't find any confirmation to see if he was still there. There is a very small possibility that he may have still been there, and that's why the strike occurred. But we have no confirmation on that.
So let me show people where that guy is. We don't have any confirmation, but a lot of Iranians are hoping that strike was intended to take this guy out, Radon, the head of police, the person responsible for killing a lot of Iranian protesters. So they are hoping that he was the target.
That man, or rather monster, conducted a plan and drafted a plan for years on how to organize kill boxes to effectively mow down civilians, unarmed civilians, ending up in over a 50,000 civilian death toll in 10 hours, making it the most horrific massacre of human beings in modern history. Now, of course, most people in the Islamic Republic are also directly responsible for this. And for this reason for the strikes, as I was able to found from other analysts here, went around digging. It said that seems that someone important from the IRGC was there, or there were some IRGC teams that were intending to go into Iraq to help out the militias there, and they got eliminated, or they were actually an espionage team headed for Kuwait. Other than those three options, I couldn't really find any other reason why the US would strike this crossing. So maybe we'll find some more info about that hopefully soon. Going back to our map here, we are also able to see that one of the US bombs or US bases near here, this airfield we can see here, was also bombed, and we can actually see these missiles take off and land at the same time. So we'll show it's extremely loud. So we can see the missile landing on the airbase. I don't know if this is OPSEC, but this clip has been going around. We can actually see two explosions right there on that US base in Jordan. We can see it one more time at the tail end of the clip. You can see them trying to track the missile, and it lands right there. The US bases in Jordan have been under pretty heavy fire recently, and we can see here that according to the New York Post, on Wednesday, meaning yesterday, another missile from the Islamic Republic slipped through US air defenses, so the Patriot or THAADs, and it struck a weapons depot. This is the same base where 3 American troops were killed just last week, and they said that it caused a mushroom cloud I'm not quite sure what that could mean here. But in general, a lot of people have been raising questions. Why are the US bases so poorly defended? Well, the answer is actually because the missiles that the Islamic Republic are using are some of their more advanced ones. They do reach hypersonic speeds at some point in their flight and are able to maneuver midair to dodge Patriot interceptors here. The question, though, is being raised, why are CENTCOM commanders not allowing or pushing for these bases to build more shelters? They don't have any bomb shelters. They have some concrete walls and metal containers that they have. And we were actually able to find, so according to the Enforcer YouTube channel, who directly spoke to a service member on this base currently serving, who chose to be anonymous, there are 0 bomb shelters. There are only some containers and some pits, machine gun pits that they lie in, and some concrete enclosures. I'd like to show you guys the airlift currently being conducted into the Middle East here. You can see that right here. So last night, what it looked like was this. And we haven't seen this for a long time. And that was just last night. Today, the picture looks like this. So we have a steady trail of equipment being lifted from Europe into the Middle East, and empty tankers going into Europe to pick up any of the rest. You can also see a couple planes right there by England in the top left, largely believed to have started off the B1 or B2's descent here into the Middle East. Now, we do have about 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. in the Middle East right now over Iran. And generally, we see strikes conducted just about right now, or about 30 minutes from now is when they usually begin. Do you think we'll have a 13th night in a row of strikes on the Islamic Republic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason for them stopping. I mean, do you?
I've seen no reason for them to stop. What I don't want to see, though, unfortunately, what did end up happening is here in Bushehr, CENTCOM released one of the videos, and on the hospital, sorry, not the hospital, the airfield, in this general area, they just struck some old pipes that were there for 15 years. And that raised a lot of questions as to, was it an AI system that mistakenly struck it or gave false intel? Was the intel not properly vetted? What other intel is not being properly vetted?
Wait, where is
So
that?
they're a little bit under flack. Sorry?
Where is that? Where is that?
We showed it yesterday, actually. Let me go see if I can find it. July
Oh, it's okay. It's
22nd.
okay. No, that's okay. That's
Should be, oh yeah, I have the pin right there. So let's take a look.
But it just means
So
where
here
it
it
is.
is. So it's in that airport, and that red box are basically just a bunch of pipes with some military camo painted on them. And they were subject to a strike
Oh.
by a CENTCOM video. People went and checked out and saw those pipes were there for 15 years. It's not,
So they look.
not ideal.
They look. They look like missiles. Is that why they hit them?
It seemed like they looked like missiles.
Hmm.
But if that information was properly vetted, I mean, with just a simple Google, Earth look, they would have seen that that was definitely not the case. So I expect Congress to crawl all over that and start questioning CENTCOM pretty much immediately. I mean, it happened yesterday, so we're going to see that soon.
I mean, come on. Like, what do you expect? Everything to be 100%, every single strike to be 100% correct? Like, who has that record for everything to be 100% correct information?
Yeah, it's a fair point. We have a couple of memes coming up for you guys from the Islamic Republic, but before that, a couple of kinetic things happened. So in the southeast border of the Islamic Republic in Pakistan, there was a border clash where I was able to find in this piece of Islamic Republic state media that some separatist or freedom fighters or whoever they may have been attacked some border guards and were found out and were actually taken out, resulting in about 2 casualties. And that's all we were able to find of this news. So it looks like the Baluchi, which is the southeast portion of Iran here, have still been pretty active in the past few months. They've targeted probably around a dozen IRGC officers, including intelligence officers as well, and assassinated them. So they are still conducting some sort of operations in the area. But let's get into the Strait of Hormuz. So we saw that CENTCOM reported that the Strait is still under our control. The Islamic Republic does not control it, even if they declare it so. And we have actually allowed 900 ships since early May to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. For reference, while this is amazing, an amazing job from the United States military to bring these ships out safely under heavy missile fire and threats, for comparison, in the 80 days, so about 2.5 months, 3 months before the war started, 10,270 ships passed by in that 80-day period. On the same 80-day period since Project Freedom began, which is 79 days ago, 900 ships have passed through. So that just goes to show how incredibly difficult the Islamic Republic has made it for oil shipping to be conducted in the Strait of Hormuz. We're not even at 10% of the previous traffic. The good news is U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright did say that about 2/3 of the pre-war traffic oil flow is still being conducted. I'm assuming that's pretty much an average barrels per day and not, ships per day. So that has helped, but oil prices are pretty much at $100 right now. And I'm going to check that again. Checked it just a couple hours ago. So oil prices per barrel are now at $100 officially, $100.55, marking us into, again, territory where we are approaching what the war was. So these spikes here are during the 40-day war. We're over here. So we're getting back into that range, which means maybe if something should happen, it should probably happen soon. Or it means we're going back to negotiations, because we've historically seen those dips when some sort of talks take place or some sort of ceasefire. Do you think maybe, logistics and the economics of this, what are your thoughts on the oil price here?
Yeah, I think this confirms that the combination of attack, like this is not just because of the attacks, the increased kinetic operations around the Strait of Hormuz, is also in response to Bab el-Mandeb. The Houthis are getting more active. Their mere announcement of the blockade had a huge impact on the behavior of tankers around the Bab el-Mandeb, around the Red Sea. But now they, just yesterday they started attacking ships as well. So the combination of both attacks, the Islamic Republic on ships, commercial ships around the Strait of Hormuz, and the Houthis attacks on ships around Bab el-Mandeb, that's what it would do. And again, this also suggests that if it gets escalated more, by the way, the prices are now more sensitive to escalation than before, because last time the market took into account the huge oil reserves that many countries had. A lot of that is not there, and there is no way to make up for the around 18 million barrels per day loss that this will cause. There is no alternative. Like, I know we have Venezuela is on US's side now, so is Iraq, but there is no way to in time bring all of that into, especially now with the sanctions on Russia as well, on Russian's oil. There is no alternative to all of that. So the price sensitivity is so high. So we, like, the Islamic Republic's understanding is that if the Americans escalate, they could reach numbers close to $200 per barrel if this escalates, and even above. And now, mind you, they thought about this. They thought this would happen last time as well, and it didn't. But their understanding is that this time it will be different because of uh, low strategic oil reserves. Some people criticize President Trump from coming out and publicly announcing that that is a limitation, because some people say, well, maybe he's just saying that as a way to his 5D chess, art of the deal, stuff like that. But some people are saying whatever it was, it emboldened the Islamic Republic, thinking that they have the upper hand, and the Americans are holding back because they don't have enough strategic oil reserves. But the point is that the problem is that the Islamic Republic is not leaving that many options on the table for President Trump anyways. So it might even be true that the Americans, if they want to escalate, they don't want to escalate now. It might be true that they don't want to do it now, but the Islamic Republic is basically making President Trump lose his patience. It is possible that because of all of the death threats, all of the attacks on the ships, now the Houthis attacking, and also them saying no to their most recent suggestions for the mediators, it might be the case that the White House is going to decide, let's just rip the Band-Aid. This might hurt, but we have to do it.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.